What is interesting when I watched your YouTube videos and read about you is that you have the ability to get in touch with the entire universe, because you're just a small little human being in a vast ocean or in a huge place in the Antarctica or in the mountains.
I often tell the story of my Dorado. Just after I had one storm on the Solar Row where I had battened the hatches and pretty much was on a parachute anchor for 6 days. The wind ranged between 80 and 100 kilometers per hour, swell sort of 8 to 10 meters big, so it's big seas, it's big wind. I'm being held against this parachute anchor and I'm lying in my boat not knowing whether I'm going to survive it or not, but I do survive it. And shortly after that storm, because I'd been on parachute anchor, I wanted to get over the side of the boat and just clean the hull of my boat. So I jumped overboard, the sea had calmed down quite a bit, and I was cleaning the side of my boat, and I noticed some Dorado around me. Now Dorado, what are Dorado? Dorado are a fish, they're very beautiful fish in the sea. They're quite prolific in most oceans. They're the only fish in the sea that mate for life. I had 6 of them around my boat, and I noticed them that day for the first time, and I got back on the boat and I carried on rowing, and every now and then I'd hear them bumping against the rudder of my boat, or I'd see them jumping out the sides of the jumping out next to the boat at sunrise and sunset. And as the weeks went past, these Dorado never left my boat. They were coming closer and closer to the boat, and at sunrise and sunset they would jump out the water and they would look at me. They would look at me. They would make eye contact with me, except they can't look at you like this. They've got the one eye sort of Googles you, and they would not stop jumping until I had made eye contact with them, and only once I'd made eye contact with them would they stop. I connected with 6 fish that in such a spiritual way that I didn't think it would be possible to be able to do that. And I know you probably think I'm a little bit strange when I say that, but I know that those fish were looking out for me in a very, very weird way. They would never have been able to help me or do anything, but you know what it did for me? Having those 6 fish underneath my boat for 6 weeks was helping me inside my head, because I knew that there were 6 heartbeats underneath my boat. At night, they would sit underneath my oars while I was rowing. Now, I don't know if you know this, but pretty much all the oceans are full of bioluminescence, which is a kind of phosphoretic plankton. You just have to touch it, and it lights up to this bright green color. And I'd have my Dorado swimming underneath my oars all night while I was rowing, swapping sides, going underneath the boat, coming back out again, keeping me company. You see, there's a connection that's gone between humans and animals, and if we get into a position where we are able to connect but understand that connection as well, it's a phenomenal place to be.
What's interesting is the paradox in the story that if you put yourself in a position of vulnerability, then you connect with powers you have never known before.
I mean, I got quite lonely on my Solar Row. I would speak to my wife Kim on the sat phone, and I'd say, Kim, it's unbelievable. Today has been my hardest day, but I get dolphins. I get dolphins coming to my boat, and it just was uncanny. The times that I was really, really struggling, just physically, emotionally, and everything, out at sea, and big surf and horrible conditions and current against me and stuff, I would get dolphins at the end of that day. It's just, I don't know, Gerard, it just happened. It's just connecting, I think.
Peter, thank you so much for sharing the story. I could go on for hours listening to your experiences. For anybody who would like to get more information and book you as a speaker, how can they do that?
Well, the best thing would be to go into my website, which is www.petervankets.com. You can see a lot of footage of my expeditions on that. You can book me. You can see some references from some of my bigger clients that I've been working with. Another thing is Facebook also, just Peter Van Kets. Twitter, Peter Van Kets, all those mediums, those social media mediums work very, very nicely.
And you have a book.
I have, yeah. I've just completed my first book. It's been out on the shelves for a month now in South Africa. In fact, it's also going to be translated into Farsi in Iran. So that's quite exciting. I'm trying to get it into the States at the moment, and into Canada and to Europe. We'll see how that goes. In South Africa at the moment, it's a bestseller. So very excited about that. It's called the 8th Summit. And you can get it on Kalahari.net. You can also get it on Amazon.
That's a wonderful title, and I'm sure it's a wonderful book. Is it available as an ebook as well?
It's available as an ebook on Amazon. In fact, on my website, you can see how to download it and where to go to get the book.
Well, thank you so much. That was a pleasure. It was worth staying up for.
Jared, I look forward to speaking to you again sometime.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure.